The NBA season has finally given us a big enough sample size to start separating hype from reality. And for the Los Angeles Lakers, the reality has been surprisingly encouraging. There are real, meaningful, bright spots on this roster. Austin Reaves has leveled up in a way nobody saw coming, pushing past all his previous career highs with ease. Skinny Luka has lived up to every ounce of preseason buzz and then some. But maybe the biggest shock of all? DeAndre Ayton actually looks like the version of himself that people have been begging to see for years. No, he didn't magically transform into prime Shaq overnight. And honestly, that was never the mission. The Lakers didn't need him to dominate the league. They needed him to anchor the interior, stay engaged, be reliable, and hold the line. And not only has he done that, he's blown past every expectation the second he landed in Los Angeles. And trust me, doing that here, in this city, under these lights, that's a whole different challenge. We've seen countless players arrive in LA carrying sky-high hopes, only to crumble the moment real pressure hit. Even talented bigs who looked like perfect fits on paper couldn't handle the weight that comes with wearing purple and gold. Names that fans once convinced themselves would thrive here didn't just fall short. They became cautionary tales. That's why Ayton's early success matters. That's why it hits different. For him to step into the biggest basketball market in the world and not only stay afloat, but actually exceed expectations, that is not normal. That is not guaranteed. And as plenty of former Lakers have said for years, not everyone is built to be a Laker. And that's okay. What makes Ayton's turnaround even more fascinating is how open he has been about embracing this exact pressure. The moment he signed in LA, Ayton said something that honestly surprised a lot of people. I'm somewhere where it counts now. I get to prove something big on a big stage. This is the same DeAndre Ayton who once entered the league as the #1 overall pick, the guy drafted ahead of Luka Dončić, and still gave one of the most humble answers you'll ever hear from a top pick. When asked what NBA success meant to him, he said, "Just getting to my second contract." Respectable? Absolutely. But ambition-wise? Fans usually want their #1 pick to believe they're destined for greatness. Fast forward a few years, and we got a completely different version of Ayton, one who called himself a max player, claimed he had nothing to prove, and carried himself with a confidence that didn't always match the product on the floor. That version dealt with constant criticism, soft play, inconsistent motor, disappearing in big moments, and yes, at times, quitting on his team. And whether fans liked him or not, the truth is simple. Some of that criticism was real. But now we're finally seeing a different Ayton, a locked-in, sharpened, motivated version who seems ready to rewrite his entire NBA story. Just like we talked about earlier, coming to Los Angeles gave DeAndre Ayton his own Dwight Howard-style reset, a chance to rewrite his reputation, embrace a new role, and finally step into the version of himself fans had been waiting on for years. Now, his preseason debut wasn't perfect. Offensively, he finished with just 1 point in 18 minutes, along with 8 rebounds, 2 blocks, and a steal in a loss to the Suns. But defensively, you could already see something brewing. His rotations looked sharper, his timing looked intentional, and the energy was noticeably different. And for a team planning to start Austin Reaves, LeBron James, and Luka Dončić, 3 guys who would need a stable backline, those early flashes meant a lot. After that game, Ayton made it clear. Scoring wasn't the only thing he planned on bringing to the table. He said he was here to impact the game in any way the Lakers needed. Clean rebounds, defensive anchors, second chance plays, whatever the role required, he was in. But reality is reality. Even with those defensive sparks, criticism came fast. It only took a couple of preseason games for people online to start panicking, and that's exactly why I released that video earlier this season. I said then, and I'll say it again now, people were judging way too early, especially when Ayton hadn't even had time to build offensive chemistry with Luka, one of the main reasons he wanted to come to LA in the first place. Now, that doesn't mean all criticism was unfair. I'll always be honest. If a player deserves critique, they deserve critique. And after Ayton's regular season debut, yeah, the criticism made sense. Shaq's message to Ayton was blunt but not wrong. Rebound, protect the rim, and dominate the paint. On opening night against the Warriors, Ayton had moments that frustrated even casual fans. Here's one clip that explains why. Ayton gets solid post position on a smaller defender, makes a decent catch, but then immediately brings the ball down to waist level, inviting the help defender to swipe it clean. That turnover instantly becomes a fast break the other way and ends in a Gary Payton 2 alley-oop. A 4-point swing in a matter of seconds, all off a basic mistake. Against a team like Golden State, you cannot give them those freebies. Even if they're only middle of the pack in fast break scoring this season, they still have Steph Curry. One mistake can flip momentum instantly. Another play shows the same issue. Ayton secures great rebounding position under the rim off a wild Luka shot. Should have been an easy board. But he bobbles it. Horford snatches the rebound, outlets it, and suddenly the Warriors have a 4-on-3 break. And you already know what happens when Steph Curry is the trailer on a broken floor. Cash. And one more. The Lakers force a tough shot at the rim, Ayton overhelps and completely leaves Horford for a wide-open dunk. Simple mistakes, fixable mistakes, but frustrating ones. Ayton finished that game with just 10 points and 6 rebounds. Not his best night, not even close. But still, it wasn't a reason to panic. Because even with those flaws, you could already see the difference he made defensively. The Lakers simply didn't have a big last year who could anchor the paint the way Ayton has early on. And while yes, Ayton has had motor issues in the past, for his current price tag, he's giving the Lakers tremendous value. Look at his early game against the Bucks, for example. On the second night of a back-to-back, when most players have heavy legs, Ayton helped hold Milwaukee to just 95 points. He battled Giannis possession after possession. Nobody shuts Giannis down completely, but Ayton's physicality, rim protection, and attention to the scouting report raised the level of difficulty for him on nearly every touch. One play stands out perfectly. Ayton and Vanderbilt tag-team Giannis at the rim, forcing back-to-back misses. It's the kind of defensive toughness Lakers fans begged for last season, and now they finally have. The Lakers definitely benefited from a little three-point luck against the Bucks. Milwaukee missed a surprising number of clean looks generated off Giannis drives, even though they still finished the night shooting a strong 39% from deep. But make no mistake, Los Angeles earned a large part of that success. As crazy as it sounds, they actually did a fantastic job forcing the Bucks into a one-dimensional style of play, and then adding pressure through their own offensive execution. Not long ago, I posted about how the Pelicans kept giving up wide-open threes, and how it somehow always felt like every team shot lights out against them. And the truth is, there's a reason behind that. Those shots weren't just uncontested. They were rhythm shots. No pressure, no consequences, no fear of a counterpunch on the scoreboard. Teams shoot better when they know every miss won't immediately cost them. Earlier this season, even I could have gone 3 for 5 from deep against the Pelicans. That's the level of comfort teams had facing them. But against the Lakers, that comfort wasn't there. LA's offense finally applied pressure. Their stars manipulated the defense every possession, and DeAndre Ayton was a massive part of that. As the Bucks scrambled to slow down Luka Dončić, he repeatedly punished their rotations, and that's where Ayton's versatility came alive. One play in particular was a perfect example of J.J. Redick's offensive design. Ayton flows off a Reaves screen into a clean pick and roll with Luka. Luka keeps his dribble alive with that signature poise, eyes scanning every part of the floor. He knows Miles Turner is a long disciplined defender, so the pass can't just be good, it has to be perfect. High enough to avoid the contest, but soft enough to give Ayton a ladder to climb. Luka drops it exactly where it needs to be. Ayton explodes off the floor like Arizona Ayton all over again and flushes it with ease. Beautiful execution. And it's moments like that which make it clear why Ayton was so locked in about coming to Los Angeles in the first place. When a big gets a few of those easy connections, everything else opens up. Suddenly Turner can't overcommit. Suddenly help defenders hesitate. And in the NBA, one hesitation is all it takes. Take the next play. Ayton doesn't even have to be at the three-point line to change the geometry of the floor. His vertical spacing alone forces Turner into an impossible decision as Reaves turns the corner. Do you help on Reaves and give up the lob, or stay home on Ayton and give Reaves a clean path? Turner freezes for half a beat, and that's enough. Reaves gets the bucket and the foul. Honestly, Reaves might have the best chemistry with Ayton out of anyone on the team so far. Time and again, he's found Ayton in soft pockets of space right as the defense collapses. Here's one perfect example. Reaves draws two defenders toward the ball. Giannis completely ignores the corner because Vanderbilt is just 28% from three, yet the Lakers still create a wide-open dunk. Why? Because Ayton reads the floor, slides into the gap, and presents himself like a veteran big with years of time under his belt. And then we get to the contract. How much is Los Angeles paying this guy again? Oh, right. The Lakers stole him. 2 years, $16.2 million. Just $8.1 million this season. That makes him the 34th highest paid center in the NBA. For a guy who has averaged a double-double every single year of his career. Normally, you have to pay top-tier money for that kind of reliability. The Lakers are getting it for clearance rack prices. But let's talk about something that Lakers fans were waiting on. Revenge versus Phoenix. It didn't quite happen. The Lakers let that game slip away, and Ayton finished with 12 points and 9 rebounds. The storyline heading in was all about Ayton proving a point to his old team, but by halftime, the narrative had completely flipped. For some reason, all the spotlight shifted to LeBron James. And trust me, that were weird. That whole video on its own. Now, I really want Lakers fans to be honest in the comments. Where do you stand on Ayton right now? Because even with how good he's been, I don't think the Lakers should get too comfortable with their frontcourt depth. If I'm the Lakers, I'm still scanning him. Not necessarily for a superstar, just someone who gives legitimate minutes at the 5. A serviceable starter on a cheap contract. Maybe an Andre Drummond type, maybe a Jonas Valanciunas tier guy. And if not a true center, at least a power forward who can survive the 5 in the lineups. Someone in the John Collins or Markkanen light tier, a flexible chess piece for JJ. And here's the big question. If a center better than Ayton suddenly becomes available at a fair price, would you want the Lakers to take that upgrade? Or has Ayton shown you enough to lock him in as the guy? Some fans already think Giannis is on the way, and believe me, that's a whole different conversation. This league never stops surprising us. For now, though, there's a whole lot more happening in this enormous basketball universe. Click on the videos on screen to keep going. I'm your guy bringing you the scoop until the next upload.